So I've decided to integrate this into my own work. Go with nonprofit organizations when I can, medical or not. Utilize the resources I have to make a one-woman production that I can then donate back to that organization so they can use for fundraising, so they can use to get the word out there about what they're doing. And in a way also so we all feel a little more unified, that there is an army of us out there working towards better health situations, towards giving better health care. And she's not just going in and giving this health care, she's actually training local people to be able to do that as well, so that they can be more and more independent and take care of themselves. To be dependent on outsiders is not the solution. But to capacitate the people that are there becomes part of the solution. And that every little bit really does matter. I've heard last week she's actually back in that same village that you're seeing now. And which is a tremendous, for me, accomplishment to hear because it means there is a continuation of this. Shakai, who was the chief you saw, and his family of 30 actually left another village that they felt was becoming too much like the outsiders, and he wanted to retain as much as possible his local culture. Part of that culture, too, is the use of medicinal plants, as I mentioned earlier. Now, when we aren't there, or when they don't go to the outside villages to receive medical attention, they rely on their own medicinal plants. But sometimes that isn't enough. In the case of this little girl, she had a spine in her foot. We don't know how long it was there. But well, you'll see. It takes a really brave person to keep that there. That's how big it was. And she had been walking around on it for a month, 2 months, I have no idea. Had we not been there, she probably would have been okay. But in the case of this little 9-month-old girl, she had 103.8 degree fever. She had pneumonia. She wasn't breathing properly, so she wasn't breastfeeding, so she was malnourished. And the doctors that we went in with thought that she probably had another 2 days to live if we had not arrived. And when I think of that one person we can help, when I think of the 30 or the 100 or the 300, that one person is this 9-month-old girl. That if you're out there day in and day out working, and the only result you see is that one 9-month-old girl, you have done your job. But you need to keep going out there and doing it. And that for me is inspiration. It doesn't feel doom and gloom, it doesn't feel like it's too much. It's something that actually makes me want to push further, want to do more, want to help others, want to contribute and be part of a team. If Patty can be out there, so can I. This is part of a ritualistic face painting. The person you saw was a shaman. He actually wouldn't tell me what he drew on my face. He just started laughing when I asked him. So, the village of Wararai, and this village as well, we also worked with other health issues, and one of them was HIV and AIDS education. The more remote villages, it's not something you talk about, so we can't even touch the subject. But in a village where there were more people, we were able to, and that's also part of their educational program, is not just go in and put a Band-Aid on something, but educate for preventative purposes. Now, I'm sure that here in the United States, situations like this exist. I haven't yet gone out there and done a film on this, as health really has crept back into my life in a natural way. And I hope to continue to be able to do these kinds of projects, not just with this organization, but with others. In January next year, I will actually be joining a woman named Amy Greason. She has an organization called Healing Seekers. She was a pharmacist for over 2 decades, and she wanted to know where her little white pills came from. So she decided to look at where the medicinal plants were, and to really look at that intersection between modern health and traditional health. So I will be going with her in January to the Ecuadorian Amazon. It seems the Amazon is a theme that keeps coming back into my life over and over. And I'll create another one of these short films and hope to get attention to the project that she's doing. I'm also doing another one in Uganda next week. Sustainable Farming Co-op project. But again, for me it's about giving back. It's about saying I'm a filmmaker, I'm a documentarian, I'm a storyteller, but I can tell the story of other people. I can bring attention to what other people are doing, and to their work, and to their fight. And that's my job. Sure, I can go out there and do beautiful things, but I also want to do the hard things. So the shaman that painted my face, the beads that he's wearing around my neck, I went back actually a couple of months later for a different project, and I went back to see Ramon and I visited with him and he asked me for cologne. Okay, I don't ask too many questions, cologne. He's a little bit of a ladies' man. I know. All you ladies out there thought so too. So I brought him cologne. And at the end of our meeting, he adorned me with, it's actually a whole body piece. He adorned me with this. Thank you, this is a beautiful exchange. And then he put a couple bracelets on me. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Another necklace. And I looked around and I was like,
right there.
Did I just get married? So, I guess Ramon's mine. Ladies can't have him. I'm going to take us to the oceans now. I know with a last name like mine, there's many beliefs. I don't know why, that somehow I would be a diver, but as it happens, I am. My grandfather took me diving for the first time when I was 9 years old, and my diving lesson was about 5 minutes long. It was literally, this is your mask, okay, this is your tank, okay, this is how you breathe, okay, all right, let's go. Okay. It's like your grandfather taking you and sitting you on a swing and saying, okay, now go. Except mine took me to the oceans. And it was just a part of my life. It's just how I grew up. And yet, I went on to study psychology, and I got a master's in international and intercultural management, a big nebulous title that I can make anything with, but essentially intercultural relations. And then I brought that back to my roots. I came full circle back to what my family had done for generations. But I did so in a natural way, because I had forged my path. I had gone off on all these different branches, only to come right back down to the roots. Nature versus nurture, or nature and nurture, nurturing nature.